All right, what is up, everybody? It is another Monday. It's the first Monday of football season, but it's also 2 Mondays before Cassian Andor comes over to Disney+. We are talking all things Andor tonight, our official preview show. We're also going to be breaking down all the news from D23 over the weekend, because they were like, oh, Star Wars content? Yeah, you can have some. So very excited to break down all the news with y'all. Remember to throw us a like, throw us a subscribe, and Wes, throw us a punch it! Hello, everyone! Welcome to the Living Force, the UTD Network podcast, all about Andor, tonight at least. I'm one of your hosts, Eric Eilerson, and joining me tonight to chat all about the spy, the assassin, the saboteur, are two of the loveliest gentlemen this side of the rebellion. First off, we have, fresh off his first day of work, it's Dr. Charles Hankel. Hey, buddy.
Hey guys, first day of work done. Yeah, and the new job after 10 weeks of vacation. I don't know where it went. But I'm here. I survived just another Monday night, and from here on out, actually, I have every Monday off.
Yo!
So I will never have an excuse to miss the show like some other people.
Well, I'm glad you have dedication. We're gonna get to that in a second, but before we do, I have to, introduce our brother, our legend, our light, and the fan of currently the best football team in Texas. Oh, yeah. It's Wes Jenkins. What's up, man?
Hello, everybody. Sorry for the blur. Yes, we had a sick tie with the Indianapolis Colts this past Sunday, and it was a pretty good weekend. It was
basically
hot.
A win, I think, in
hot.
Houston Texans land, and that's technically a win.
Shut up. I also had a bit of a scare. I got a charge on my MasterCard of like $90. Just came out of nowhere. I didn't know what it was. I was just searching for what it was, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" And it says you made this purchase back in March or February of this year, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" So then did a little bit deeper, and I had pre-ordered these damn books from Barnes & Noble. If anybody's ever seen these, is the Star Wars Tales of Kenobi and then the Bounty Hunter Wars. So I'm not upset about it anymore. MasterCard is off the hook. But so I'm getting these in the mail pretty soon. Don't you just love that? How you have these special gifts that arrive that you forgot you ordered, but you still have to pay for them.
If your memory is bad enough, you can give gifts to yourself.
Yeah, those are dangerous, especially those versions. They're so cool. They're so big. I got 3 Funkos this week, 3 of my Obi-Wan Funkos, and one of them was like a Walmart pre-order, which means it came with one of those stupid pop protectors so they can charge you like $28 altogether. But I needed the Reva with the lightsaber, so I feel your pain, Wes. And I hope all you out there watching and listening, I hope you got surprised by some pre-orders this week, because while that means you have less money than you thought, it means you got more stuff. So I hope that you're living that life and you're having a great week. You may have noticed we're missing Dr. Corey Helton. He is in Hawaii. He did send us a video, or was with us last week. But let's check out a video of his excuse as to why he's not here. Wes, it's a very heartfelt message, so let's share with everyone what stopped Corey from being here with us today.
Hey everybody, just wanted to say sorry I couldn't be there tonight. I'm just incredibly busy here in Hawaii. There's just like I just really couldn't find the time to make it happen today. It's just, geez, man, life just gets away from you with how busy you get, and I'm just really sad about it, of not being there due to how busy I am here on this beach. So yeah, I miss you guys, I think. Yeah. Anyway, just wanted to say hello, and sorry I couldn't be there tonight, but of course be with you. Aloha from Hawaii.
Love you too, man.
Aloha.
Was that a
Hawaii.
pool hat or a beach hat?
Yeah, isn't the ocean just the pool of the world? You
Yeah.
know?
I'll allow it.
All right, yeah. We're happy you're having fun, man. We'll see you next week. I will say, y'all, I am very proud that Corey Helton, Dr. Corey Helton, is actually, like, with physical proof, relaxing fully. I didn't think it was going to happen. So well
Woosah.
done, everyone. If Corey can take a day, so can you. Maybe take a day if you haven't in a while and relax. But we'll see you next week. But since Corey's not here, we're going to talk about sports. So this weekend, sports were back. Saturday was actually a weirdly big day in the Utini world. Charles, we had a little bit of a rivalry game on Saturday. Do you want to tell everyone about how it went?
Well, if I have to, was this in the outline? I don't remember this in the outline.
No.
Well, so actually, the team is big enough that there are like some rivalries all over the place. Whether it's
That's true.
like
We have a lot.
NFL, college football, whatever it is. I personally had a hand in one this weekend, which was Jared's Arkansas Razorbacks against my South Carolina Gamecocks, and I will say that the Razorbacks won the game fair and square. We did have 4 of our starting defenders out with 2 torn ACLs. I just want to throw that out there. Their quarterback also has Frankensteinian strength. So, that's also was a major factor. But yeah, Jared's in the chat now. He wants, no, Jared, we're not talking about the Arkansas Razorbacks. We talked about them and it's over.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, man. I'm sorry you had a rough day, but I will say, if you got some nerd friends that are also sports friends, it's never not a good time. Congrats to everyone that won. And then to those that didn't, that Alabama-Texas game, we had, I think, like 300 messages going back and forth as that was going on. So, wild days. But of course, I want to talk about the Utini Fantasy League. I told y'all when we had our draft, I posted the results in Discord. And just like this, every week, I want to highlight our highest scorer of the week going into Monday Night Football. Tonight, our very own Parker's Denver Broncos are playing with Mr. Let's Ride, Russell Wilson. So we'll see what happens there. But as of now, friend of the show, Emma Park, is the top scorer of the week with 149 points. Just barely beating our buddy Jacob at 147. Coincidentally, both of them did play my girlfriend Charlie and myself. So glad to have that. Congratulations, Emma, who just rode out this week on the backs of Patrick Mahomes and the Bills defense. It's not a great start to the real football world with me as a Cowboys fan. It's not a great start to the fantasy year, but it can only go up from here. Now for Utini, I want to give a couple shout outs to some updates we had over on our YouTube channel. If you're watching us on this channel, you can go back in the feed and check out Parker's guide on the High Republic short stories. The amazing stories by people like Kevin Scott, Justina Ireland, Charles Soule, who wrote shorter stories in the Star Wars Insider magazine. It can be difficult to track those, sometimes more than the novels, but Parker put together a great guide. Also, we have a short. If you've noticed on the YouTube channel lately, we've had some amazing folks on the team clipping out clips of our live shows. And they've been re-uploading them with cool little edits and kind of more specified timestamps. And we have a current Legends Look Back short called Star Wars Legends, Things You Never Knew About the EU. And it has over 2,000 views. So a shout out to the Legends Look Back folks and all of you that have been watching that. We hope you like these smaller clips. They're really great to send to your friends if they don't want to watch a whole hour and a half podcast. Just get them in a little bit. But for the people that do want to watch a whole hour podcast, there are patrons, and we love you all. And we want to highlight our buddy Admiral Akbar 1983, who re-upped the annual Patreon subscription today. Thank you, our annual patrons. Make it super easy to plan out our year as far as content goes, because we know kind of what we have to work with. So thank you, Admiral, and to everyone else at our Patreon community, because we want to announce something that is finally dropping this Wednesday. We've teased it for forever, but this Wednesday, September 14th, the Asheville documentary is officially dropping exclusively on Patreon. Look at this image. Friendship Through the Force, a Utini documentary. It is I almost said full length, but I think that has to be like 80 minutes. It's like, 40, 50 minutes. It's like a full, completely edited documentary of the first time that all of us met each other at the top of this year. It is wild to think of how much life has happened since then, but like, guys, it's finally here. It's coming on Wednesday.
I know this is exciting because we've watched this thing grow and change through all the editing that Nathan did, and props to Nathan again.
Amazing stuff.
If we said it once, we said it 100 times. He crushed working on this thing.
Definitely.
And it was so fun. It's still fun to go back and watch it. And I'm glad that we're going to get it out there. And I hope that people kind of find a little bit of the joy that we did in watching that trip and following along. Because man, I'm already ready for the next one.
Absolutely. So proud, so excited for people to finally see this thing. Again, it will be exclusively on Patreon through its entire life. So if you've been waiting for a time to jump onto our Patreon, kind of see what else is going on, help support the network, help support the website, this is the time to do it. Go ahead, jump on. No matter what level you join, you get access to the full documentary. And we just want to say thank you so much for your support. And we hope you love it as much as we love making it. Again, you can go to utini.com/Patreon, patreon.com/Utini. All of it works. We got behind the scenes commentary. We got exclusive shows. We got now full length documentaries and more stuff coming your way as the year goes on. So happy. Could be more stoked for it. And I hope you all love it. Now, for a rather long segment of the show, Wes, let's hit the Star Wars Weekly Roundup.
It's the Star Wars Weekly Roundup.
So there are weeks where we get zero news about Star Wars. Absolutely nothing happens. And it's fine. This week is not that week. My friends, let us go through all the news we got this past weekend. And if y'all have been tuned into the Star Wars Twitter sphere, you know what I'm talking about. I'm going to start off, though, with some casting news. Because, my friends, it was officially confirmed. The rumor that has been said for months, Ezra Bridger is coming to Ahsoka. Iman Esfandi has been cast, and y'all, Ezra, it's happening. We found him. I have been so hesitant to get excited, but like, guys, what do you think? He's joining the Ahsoka show.
So this is confirming that he is showing up after the season of Rebels, right? So this is happening after Rebel. Oh wow! So he's alive.
Because this guy that's cast is a full-on adult. Like, it's definitely an older Ezra.
Yes. For all of you worried about thirst trapping, he's an adult. Don't worry. Feel free. We can do that.
He looks pretty similar to Ezra. It's a pretty good. It's a pretty good casting call.
He has exactly as many wrinkles on his face as the cartoon Ezra, which is 0.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, I absolutely love it. I cannot wait for more Ahsoka news, obviously. But Sabine is confirmed. Hera's confirmed. We're not sure who's playing her yet. I think it might be Mary Elizabeth Winstead, but we've seen like the back of her head. The ghost is. I mean, Filoni put Rebels in live action, and we're officially getting it. But that was somehow not the only live-action casting we got this weekend. We also got Lee Jung-jae, who is the lead character in Squid Game. Ever heard of it? Oh, yeah, the most successful Netflix series of all time. The main character from that is joining The Acolyte, the High Republic show, as, from what I've seen, potentially a Sith Lord. And, like, this is a hella get. Did you guys watch Squid Game?
I didn't.
No.
Is real good.
Should I watch Squid Game? Is this what I should have on my list?
I understand The Acolyte if I haven't seen Squid Game. Yeah, Squid Game's rad. I absolutely loved it. But he is awesome. And to get a guy from such a high-profile show right now, who's also such a high-profile international actor, coming into The Acolyte, I mean, they are building a roster. And, whew, especially if you Sith, I need some new Sith Lords in my life.
That's a good drop. We haven't heard much from The Acolyte, like content-wise, or we just had that one like trailer-ish that came out a while back, right, with the drums.
Yeah, I was like, okay, it's coming.
Yeah,
but it wasn't anything real.
So that's good. I like that. I like that drop.
Yeah.
Potential
really
Sith
exciting.
Lord. What makes you think so?
It was some tweets I saw, honestly, nothing official, but also it's a dark side show. They said it explores the dark side. So I'm like, man, you know how long it's been since we just got a brand new, good old fashioned Sith Lord. You know, it would just be awesome.
That's
I'd
right.
love it.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed for that. Those are coming soon. But before that comes literally everything else. Because, y'all, D23 was this week, Disney's Comic-Con, essentially. If you haven't been following, we got a lot of updates on all the shows that we have been complaining about. Why aren't there updates for blank? They gave it to us. First of all, though, we got the final trailer, and technically the first official trailer. I don't know, because I don't know the difference between teasers and trailers. I'm always confused. But for Andor, a new one. Mon Mothma had a lot more lines. We saw more characters, more visuals. I mean, we're going to talk about Andor, obviously, in greater detail later on in the show, guys. But what did this do anything to you specifically that other trailers hadn't? I mean, I just thought this is just like a final nail in the coffin of like, yep, let's do this. I am all in. I thought and it looked really crisp. I thought it looked crisper than the other ones.
Yeah. Seeing the like the date on the bottom of YouTube, and it said like came out like 15 minutes ago, and I was like, no way, what is this? So even because it was new, I think it was really good, really well put together. But it wasn't anything different than we've seen in some of the other teaser trailers. Just pretty much all the key moments that we've seen already put in there. But yeah, it's pretty good trailer.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, you know, if a comedy movie is coming out, they can make a funny 20-second, 30-second trailer. You know, if they pull all just the best jokes from the movie, then you get some movie and you're disappointed. But the more and more little peeks that we get into Andor, even if it's just little snippets, it's just like the tone. Like the tone just has me so excited because it's going to be dark. It's going to be gritty. It's going to just be it's going to be Rogue One in a TV show. And I'm so excited for that.
Gritty. Yeah. Gritty is a good adjective for this show, I think.
Yeah.
You know?
Don't hit the gritty. Watch the gritty.
Oh, sorry. I was getting confused about that. I was getting confused. Sorry. So that was amazing, of course, but we knew that was coming. Now, there were a bunch of other announcements that we were not sure, but the first one I want to talk about here with you guys is something that people have been really kind of worried about, honestly. Ever since Andor got delayed, there was another project that seems to have gotten delayed and pushed to the side a whole bunch of times and just kind of got put in the shadows in Star Wars Celebration. And that was The Bad Batch Season 2, but it now officially has a release date, everyone. 16 episodes for the second season, with a 2-episode premiere on January 14th of 2023. This is a relief to me. I was kind of worried. I didn't think this was getting shelved, but I was getting a little concerned.
I actually was wondering, because it had been so quiet, I was wondering if somehow it was going to come on at like the same time as Andor, if they were going to like overlap or something like that. But I'm glad that they spaced them out.
Same.
Yeah, me too. So 16 episodes. Are we thinking 4-episode arcs, just like before?
Ooh, probably.
That's why I brought the calculator out for the people who are watching on YouTube, because I couldn't divide 16 by 4 because I've been in an office for 10 years of my life.
Yeah, they do seem to like that.
All I know is I was never worried the show is going to get canceled. When you have a Trandoshan voiced by Matilda's mom, you're not canceling that show.
That's a great point.
When that Trandoshan dies in the show, then the show will end. Mark my words. Final season.
It's going to be rough. I am very excited, though, that it's finally coming. And, of course, the fact that it is going to have a 2-episode premiere, that's very fun. I think that it'll be... I like these multi-episode premiere days. I'm not going to lie, Andor having 3... I haven't taken the day off yet, but I'm leaning that way because that's such a lot of content.
In the middle of the week.
I'm excited them.
3 episodes in the middle of the week. So...
Yeah. But January 14th is the date I saw, which is also odd, though, because I am looking at my calendar, and I feel like that might be a Saturday? Maybe that's wrong. Anyway, it's coming in January, officially. Very stoked. And then what I was actually super excited about was the release of something that I was lucky enough to see at Star Wars Celebration, but it hadn't been released to the public. That is the Tales of the Jedi trailer, about the 6 shorts that are going to be released now October 26th. They're all coming the same day, and we got the full trailer showing the Ahsoka and Dooku shorts. Now, remind me, you guys hadn't seen this yet? Is that correct?
I hadn't
not.
seen this one specifically,
Okay.
but we saw him at Celebration. Yes.
Okay, right. But it's been a while. So Charles, you went in cold. You had not noticed that January 4th. Thank you, Brandon. Bad Batch is January 4th. But yeah, so Charles, you hadn't seen the Bail Organa Yaddle greatness that was this trailer.
Yeah, so I had seen, I think, some like screen grabs and stuff like that, but no, I had not seen this trailer. And this, weirdly enough, I probably missed some of the D23 announcements. Like, you're probably going to say some stuff that I didn't even catch. But of what I caught, this weirdly got me the most excited because
Yeah.
there's like just something about something you love kind of getting new life. And like this really is like that continuation of the Clone Wars, like animation style and all of that. And seeing young Dooku and seeing super young Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
That really got me hype. I know a lot of people probably felt the same way about Ahsoka. I mean, I think this is going to be pretty phenomenal. And what's cool about it is because they're shorts, you're probably not necessarily throwing that many resources at it. So it's not like a high stakes thing. You know, like they could just keep making more as long as they're successful. And that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
When
That would be awesome.
When I first saw the series of shorts at Celebration, I thought it was going to be more than just Ahsoka and Dooku. So with it only being really centered on Ahsoka and Dooku, that makes me more excited because they're going to be elaborating on some of these earlier pieces that we hadn't seen before.
Yeah. So excited for that. And of course, you know, if you watch the trailer, go check it out on YouTube. And it was actually the highest viewed trailer of the day from Star Wars, which was awesome because there was a lot of cool stuff, but this is the one. People noticed that Ahsoka is seen at Padme's funeral, which is going to be emotionally destructive. We saw, of course, Dooku with the blue lightsaber, which we all love so much. And like you said, Charles, we got young Qui-Gon in there, who young Qui-Gon is going to be voiced by Liam Neeson's son, and old Qui-Gon is voiced by Liam Neeson himself.
No way.
Wild.
Oh, yeah.
Wild.
That's a good idea.
Just so much fun. And again, those are coming October 26th. So glad those are out in the world. Next up, we got the aforementioned Ahsoka series. Didn't get a ton from it, but we did get a couple pictures that included looks at Ahsoka, of course, and Sabine for the first time really in costume. So this picture here, Ahsoka in her battle position, got the robes, got the saber. I mean, Rosario just is Ahsoka now. Like, she just looks so good. I mean, you could have told me this was Mando Season 2. I probably would have believed you, honestly. It looks really good. But I think the star of the show was the next photo, which showed live-action Sabine at the Rebels mural wall. I was shocked. I mean, I know this was coming, but seeing it on this scale, knowing that they painted it this large, like, that's kind of amazing.
That just takes me back to that picture that she had painted. I've totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
Like in the show. So I love Rebels. I love that show. It's such a good show.
Oh, yeah.
So
It's so good.
This is my first time seeing this picture.
me too.
There it is, man. Look at that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what I would do if I was not on the Living Force. I'd be watching the Living Force because I clearly missed so much. But that is incredible. Even on my screen right now, this looks like it could even be animated.
Yeah, it's that good. And it's just like, it's just really cool to see Sabine Wren, animated character from a show that had that people, again, just doubted for so long. And now she's coming in the Ahsoka series, which people are so stoked for. What a world we live in. I love it. And then for a photo, I will be shocked if you've seen, Charles. We learned that the Skeleton Crew, the new show that is starring kids, but for adults, as it's been pitched, has wrapped filming. And we got our first look at the star of the show, who, if you do not remember, folks, is Jude Law. That's right. Look at that. It's Jude Law's in Star Wars. He's talking to the Jabba's palace things.
He's this
That is
thing
Jude
coming
Law.
out.
Yeah, he's just wearing a leather jacket and a scarf talking to droids. And I'm like, Jude MF Law, man. That's, I think, again, this series,
pull.
there's so many little ones coming out, but I think it's gonna sneak up on folks. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Jude Law in Star Wars. He obviously doesn't need the money. Is he looking for that legacy? He's looking for that legacy piece for his
He might
acting
be.
chops. I mean,
Honestly, you could put Jude Law in anything.
for sure.
You could literally put him in anything, and I would not bat an eye. I'd be like, yep.
Works.
Yeah. I also think our buddy Oz and the team and I agree that there's now a contractual obligation to put all super hot people in Star Wars. So, like, I guess that's what they're doing. Well done, everybody. Speaking of super hot people in Star Wars, the Mandalorian Season 3 teaser also got released. A lot of footage that folks got to see at Star Wars Celebration, but we saw things like freaking Bo-Katan walking the halls of Mandalore. That was pretty cool. And then, of course, like, tons of Mandos and jetpacks. We saw Mando himself flying the N1 with Grogu. I mean, just an amazing sizzle reel. But most importantly, we did find out that the new season is dropping February 23rd.
Because in the trailer it just said 2023.
Right. But
Damn
they
you,
announced
Disney.
it.
It just tells the date during the trailer.
So Mando and Bad Batch are going to be on at the
Slightly
same
overlapped, I believe.
Huh.
Which is just, I mean, we're gonna go. I feel like I've been saying, oh, hasn't been so much Star Wars content this summer. I'm excited. Within the next month, Andor starting with 3 episodes. Kabam! High Republic Phase 2 is starting. Ka-chow! And then we're gonna get Bad Batch, and then we're gonna get Mando, and then it's just what? Cha! Just nothing but Star Wars. I can't believe it's all happening so quickly. That teaser was great. Again, Tales of the Jedi got more views, but I do think that Mando is such a recognized property that people are just ready to go. I know some folks, especially that watch this show, going completely cold. That's legit. Anything about this teaser? Again, it's kind of an odd question because we're all going to watch it, obviously, but anything get you particularly hyped seeing the kind of season 3? Maybe that, because to me, I think it looks bigger than season 2. That's what I noticed. Like, the scale of it seems larger.
Yes,
Yeah, I mean,
especially with sorry, Charles, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, all the Mandalore stuff. I
Yeah.
think. I mean, it's just pulling in things that we have been wanting out of the show, but it's good that they took their time, to actually develop the characters and then get to all these big questions that we have, like Mandalorian, what happened and what's going on with the Darksaber and all that stuff. So I'm happy, but again, they could just have a 3-second trailer of the armor saying this is the way, and I'd be hype about it.
You're like,
So,
woo!
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was kind of strange that because Book of Boba Fett, it's kind of overlap with Mando. She's like, I thought we kind of just saw Mando, but we really didn't. We really haven't seen Mando since we saw Luke Skywalker, right?
Right.
So we were just like,
Oh
it's
my God,
been
remember that?
so long. So I'm super stoked this is coming out.
Yeah, cannot wait for it. I mean, I feel like whenever the Mando's not on, I'm like, do I really like Mandalorian better than certain things? And I watch an episode when they're new, I'm like, oh God, this is great. This stuff's awesome. And then we got a little curveball at the end. This wasn't in the full presentation, but it got tweeted out by Star Wars, and they announced that it was happening. The Young Jedi Adventures. This is going to be an animated show in the High Republic era, featuring this adorable cast of kids and Yoda.
He still looks old. Look how old Yoda looks in this.
He's somehow like a baby Muppet that's still wrinkly as hell. Like I'm so glad they keep making stuff like this, because I think that young kids do need fun Star Wars content. And that little blue guy, I think I would kill an army for him. I mean, look at him. He's holding a lethal weapon. That is a
happy about
sword.
it.
That is a Furby. That is 1,000%
Yes.
Furby.
Yeah, I'm so excited for this. It also told that the main kid here, the main guy, is going to be voiced by one of the kids from Abbott Elementary. So if anyone's been watching that show and liking it, that kid's already got more credits than any of us will have in our entire life. So
This one on the
Well
left,
done.
the little redhead there has kind of an attitude. I like that.
yeah, and is that hair or like a little crown? I don't know. It's kind of a
It's a hair crown.
little bit of oomph. I'm enjoying it. And then a little droid at the bottom, of course. We all need one of those. So very excited for that. That's coming 2023. And then finally, I did want to address one piece of news. It's not Star Wars strictly, but it is Lucasfilm. The first footage of Indiana Jones 5 got released, And why I mention this is not for the footage itself, because obviously they didn't show that. People have talked about it, whatever. But Harrison Ford, the glorious curmudgeon, did come out on stage and talk afterwards. And I don't know if you guys saw the clips. He actually got like choked up with emotion about how much he loved the movie and Indiana Jones. And like he doesn't do that. So I just thought like it was really a beautiful moment. If it's all over Twitter, go check out the clip. Harrison is just talking about how happy he is with this movie. And we were talking about Jude Law doesn't need the money, right? Harrison Ford sure doesn't need the money for anything. And
I think
to get him back, this must be a hell of a movie. So are you guys indie fans? We don't talk about it a whole lot, but
Oh yes.
Yes. Oh yeah. I've been an Indiana Jones fan ever since they walked across those cookies in the cave in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and then and not gonna spoil it, but they weren't cookies, my friends.
Yeah, I'm not so much an Indiana Jones fan as I just am a Harrison Ford fan. Like I think Eric, the weekend you came to Charlotte, I think after you guys got in and went upstairs to go to bed, I just went downstairs and watched The Fugitive. Like that's where
right.
I'm at.
Yeah, we always love Harrison, and the fact that he's this late in his career, making things that mean this much to him and getting the recognition and love is just so great. So highly recommend you guys check out that clip. Check out all the trailers, of course, here from D23, and get ready. Strap yourselves in, because we got a hell of a year coming our way. But before that, of course, you got to go over to the Utini release calendar and make sure you got all the books that are coming out in the middle of this. You can't stop reading, including The High Republic Path of Deceit, which is now less than a month away. It's coming out October 4th. And The High Republic Quest for the Hidden City. Temple of Doom was in my head, which comes out November 1st. Or if you're like Wes, make sure you head over to your Barnes & Noble and get the Obi-Wan Kenobi and the War of the Bounty Hunters exclusive editions that are coming out this very week. All right, in the spirit of Cassian Andor, we do have one book review for a slightly older book that I saw a member of our community actually read quite recently. So Charles, tell us what Lando thought about Rebel Rising.
Yes, Lando read Rebel Rising by Beth Revis, gave it 4 stars, and said it greatly improves Shin's character, and is a good choice to talk about for multiple reasons, right? Because also the Beth Revis connection, since we have the upcoming Princess and the Scoundrel Roundtable. Anyways, Lando said Jin and really all of the Rogue One crew feels kind of underdeveloped in her movie. Perhaps it's because we meet her and say goodbye to her in one film, where most Star Wars characters get to grow over the course of a trilogy or a whole saga. This book greatly improves on her by fleshing out her backstory, including one of her most interesting aspects, her troubled past with the rebel terrorist Saw Gerrera. As a big Saw fan, the first half of this book was super fun. We get to see how Saw's operations were run from the inside. My biggest complaint is that the second half also felt like it hopped around a lot. Jin planet hops and joins group after group, constantly getting found out and escaping, and the book becomes a bit episodic and repetitive. Overall, it's a great book that is in the upper tier of Star Wars YA books, on par with Most Wanted, but not quite at masterpiece level like Queen's Peril. Wow. Well, it's a great book. It's been quite a long time since I've read it. I remember really enjoying it, though. It was one of the earlier Star Wars YA books that I read. But I got a bone to pick with you, Lando. Most Wanted is a masterpiece level
I agree.
Star Wars YA novel. But other than that, I'm with you.
Absolutely. But great stuff, Lando. And again, like Charles said, if you're reading The Princess and the Scoundrel and you loved it, make sure to check this out. Beth Revis wrote them both. Or if you just want a little bit more Rogue One in your life, you can't go wrong with a little more Jyn Erso. But tonight's show is not about Jyn Erso. It is about the subject of the show and the subject of my shirt. Hold on here. Gotta go. Yep.
Hey, let's get you centered here. Oh, look at it! I love the colors. I love the colors.
I'm obsessed with this. Charlie went to Disney this past weekend and sent me this picture. It's like, you want this shirt? I'm like, oh, yeah, I do. Cassian Andor himself, the show that started out as a okay and is becoming okay for all my millennials out there. So I want to ask you guys, just starting off, before we get into like the bit by bit format of what the show is going to be, who the characters are, because we everyone listening and watching, we're going to be prepping you tonight to get ready for the show. Fellas, Charles, I want to start with you. What's just your basic thoughts on Andor right now? If people hadn't heard him before, what did you think when it was announced, and how have your feelings changed since that initial announcement, and why?
Yeah, so when it was first announced, I was excited because Cassian is one of the better characters, I think, from Rogue One, probably partially because of K2. I'm not going to lie, but it was exciting. And I think that the Utina community, and especially talking with you guys, has really elevated Rogue One in my eyes, just as a movie. And so as this has come closer and closer to actually coming out, I felt myself getting more and more excited. And, you know, anytime they announce one of these new projects, I do have that moment's hesitation of like, is this too far? Like, is this the money grab? Is this and you know, there are people out there that say that for every project that comes out, but this thing looks like they just put so much time and effort. As I mentioned earlier, every trailer that comes out, every new bit of footage that comes out, I feel like really is just like proving what this show is going to be, the tone the show is going to have. I think it's going to be really unique. I think it's going to be probably the darkest Star Wars thing we may have had on screen since like Revenge of the Sith. I'm going to say that. I think it might be that dark, and I actually kind of hope that it is, because I want that. You know, I want to see where Star Wars can go with that.
All right. Dang. Very nice. Wes, same question. Basic thoughts? How have you evolved? What do you think?
Let's see. Sorry, I'd palm y'all for a second. So in the beginning, I thought I was iffy on the show because I've obviously seen Rogue One. I've read some of the books, but I didn't understand what it could be until I saw Disney put together the trailer. Once they put together that trailer, I was hooked. I was like, wow, they can really tell this story, but also provide the hero himself is doing some bad things, right? So we've seen like in Star Wars where the rebels are shooting stormtroopers and they're killing them, right? But they're not really saying, and I'm be like, oh, well, you know, even the rebels are killing people. The rebels are bad guys too. They're not. But in this particular show, they're going to show like, I think they're going to show the bad side of the rebels and what they're having to, like what they have to endure, and then like what the public is going to see of the rebels. I mean, I think the Empire is mainly going to try to use their propaganda in ways for the rebels to say, hey, these guys aren't good. You don't want to follow these guys to be like to overthrow the government. We're the good guys. We're the ones that are helping out and providing jobs. So it's kind of like I've
been killing stormtroopers since I was 6 years old.
Dang,
gritty again, gritty, like you said earlier, Charles. That's what I want to see.
Don't do it, Eric.
I want a gritty so bad. I have Justin Jefferson on a fantasy team. What can I say? I'm feeling good. I will say when it was first announced, I was about where I started this segment off. Like, okay, yeah, that'll be fun, interesting, odd. Is there that much to say about Cassian? Honestly, was my initial thought. And then as time went on, that first trailer at Star Wars Celebration, I remember watching it and realizing, okay, this is something different. This does not look like other Star Wars, and not in a bad way. Like, I love other Star Wars. That's why I'm here. But this looks special. This looks cool. And I think it's going to be really well crafted. And I think every single piece of media that I've seen about Andor since then, I have just been really blown away by the craft of the production. I'm talking the acting, the written dialogue, the sets, the lighting of the shots, like the actual craft that is being used to make this television show. I think I am more impressed by than anything in Star Wars in years. And I think that if you have a team which clearly is putting so much work and dedication into this story, a lot of them from Rogue One, you were like, oh my gosh, why wouldn't the results be that high? And don't get me wrong, I love the fact that we're getting a grittier show. Like, we're never those guys that are like, why isn't there more killing in Star Wars? Star Wars should be brutal. Like, it's Space Wizards for kids, sure. But there's something so exciting about the gravity of the rebellion being very real, about being like, every time a blaster shot goes off in a movie, that's a gun. Like if we just really make that happen, I feel like Andor is going to treat that like these are weapons in the streets. These are people that are being hunted by a fascist government. Like, I feel like we're really going to see George Lucas's concepts being treated at that 10 out of 10. Yeah. And I can't wait.
Selfishly, it's nice for us where we experienced those stories as kids and we didn't realize what the rebellion really had to do when we were that age, and we never would have thought about it. And now the world's become a lot more complicated, hasn't it? And it always was complicated, but we didn't recognize it. Now that we do, seeing some of our favorite stories kind of also flesh that out it's kind of a fun thing to go through as, you know, people our age, fans our age. But I still think they're going to do it in such a way that it's approachable for kids. They're not, you know, Cassie's not going to be beheading folks and whatnot out in the streets, at least. Well, I guess
not like Ahsoka did.
And Kenobi, you know what? Maybe he'll behead some people, okay, but not like a lot. So it'll still be approachable.
Yeah. So Charles, what you're saying is that suddenly the rebellion is real for you. All right, great. Good to know. So for the nitty gritty of the show itself, let's talk format first, because this show we now know is going to be 2 seasons, each comprised of 12 episodes for what has been called a 24-episode spy thriller. And the first season, which we're going to watch, all takes place 5 years before Rogue One. And this first season is broken up into 4 arcs that are each 3 episodes each. So they're starting that off from the beginning. So day 1, we are getting a full arc of Andor. So fellas, I just want to start off with this on a technical level. What do we think of this format? Because some of the shows have used arcs in the past, but none of them have really been this strict at the top of being like, we're doing 3, 3, 3, 3. This all takes place 5 years before Rogue One. Do you like this? Do you think that it'll give more consistency? Do you think it'll be jarring going from arc to arc? What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know for sure. I guess the one thing I would say is that it shows they're planning extensively. I mean, they're very organized. And
are you saying they haven't planned everything out before, Charles? Are you saying Star Wars?
Just rumors that are out there. Yeah. I mean, they're planning, right? And that's a good thing. I think
our Rise of Skywalker commentary is on Patreon.
It is. Go take a listen to that. But you know, the one thing I'll say is that I really hope that each individual arc has something to do with the larger story. Because I will say in some of the other TV shows like Mandalorian, even though I love Mandalorian, there are arcs where you're like, okay, that was a full-on side adventure. It was fun. I wish it had a little more connection to the overall story. And so I hope that when it comes to like a spy thriller type show, I never want to lose that. Like, I don't want to come in, get the initial arc, everything's dark and gritty and there's a mystery and we're trying to solve something, and then we go off and we meet the Frog Lady. I love the Frog Lady, guys.
We all love the Frog Lady.
But it's gonna take the tension away, right? And that's super important for a spy thriller type of project, is to maintain that steady level of tension, build towards the end, you know, reveal, all that good stuff. So I'm hopeful.
Yeah, I'm on board with you, Charles. I want it to be suspenseful, intense throughout each of the arcs. I think you might lose some of the audience if you start doing these side quests, kind of like you're talking about. But I also think some of this show as a whole is going to help bring people in if they really haven't seen the original trilogy before, because maybe some people haven't seen the original trilogy, right? So they want to see.
I'm sure some folks have only seen The Mandalorian. My dad only likes The Mandalorian.
Exactly.
That's the only thing he likes. So like, that might be it.
What is the rebellion fighting so hard to do? And then I know people have heard it in the back of their minds. They've never seen the original trilogy. We're like, Darth Vader, the Death Star. That's what this is all about. That's what this is all like leading up to. So I hope these arcs all have a piece of that involved in the season, like a piece of like the Death Star plans, a piece of like how Vader is progressing in either his training or how he's progressing at new as a leader, stuff like that, just to pull them into the original trilogy.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that the overall story for the first season is going to be really fun because we're going to be getting like the puzzle pieces of Cassian's crew of people that will then be going into the second season, right? And I think it'll be really fun to see him at this young age. And hold on. When he looks like this is the new Cassian Funko Pop,
Nice.
with his nice beard and his nice little coat. I think it'll be really fun to see him in that. And on a more technical level, I'm also more excited for the arc format because of the freedom I hope it gives to the directors on the show. Because from what I've seen, for the most part, each arc will kind of be directed by a singular person. So I think they'll feel like really cohesive units of storytelling. And I think that'll be super fun, as opposed to, do you have to pick up a thread from the episode before, or I want to tell my story, but then I'll get back to them. Like, I hope that we get really cool chapters of a book, essentially. And they're told like that, despite hilariously Mando and Book of Boba Fett being told as chapter 1, chapter 2. I hope that Andor actually serves as a book like that and is really cool stories that are tight, that tell entire stories, but also are parts of the whole. And I think based on everything we've seen so far, we should get that, which should be very fun.
Yeah.
But of course, those stories don't mean anything unless we have good characters. So let's go through the list of the main folks we've been told about. Some of them you may be very familiar with, some of them you may not. And let's start off, of course, by the man himself, right up top, Cassian Andor. Cassian Andor, played by Diego Luna. Just recently got this amazingly sexy character poster today. I'm loving the orange smoke aesthetic. Like the amount of stuff they've done with this logo, with the O being clear. Like every single promotional thing is a different color. I've had a really great time with this. I mean, what else do we have to say about Cassian that we haven't already, guys? Like he's Cassian. He is the assassin.
I hope his middle name is If Then. Does he have a canonical middle name? If not, it needs to be If Then.
I'm gonna break your heart. He does.
Oh, what's his middle name?
It's Jeron. Hold on, I got this wrong on a quiz. Jeron, Jeron.
Jeron.
Cassian
Okay.
Jeron.
All right.
Not as cool as If Then.
He is, when we say that Obi-Wan Kenobi is the quintessential Jedi, is he the quintessential rebel? Since he has been in this since he was 6 years old. Has he always been struggling? Has he always had that grit like we've talked about?
I think it's tough because, he's done horrible things. That's his whole thing. And like, I think a lot of folks are going to be shocked during this series because Rogue One is about him being a little cold-hearted and then becoming warm by the end. This series, he has to get to that cold-hearted. Like he's not going to become warm and fuzzy. So do
you think that you might walk out of watching this show feeling like Cassian had a bigger part in the rebellion than, say, Han Solo?
I can see that.
I think it's possible, yeah.
I can see
Which
that
is
for sure.
wild.
Yeah. Right.
I agree, but that's wild.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Han Solo... Hold on, everyone. Wait, don't stop the show. Don't press pause.
Wait, this is the guy who won the Scoundrels draft with Han Solo, by the way.
He's amazing. I love Han Solo. He took a job, and then after taking his money, decided, all right, I will fly in one space battle and destroy the Death Star. Great. We love that. And then spend a year with the rebellion. Will he stay? Will he not? I just want my reward. I don't know. Empire happens. Empire takes place over what, like a day? A couple days? He's then frozen in carbonite for an entire year. Then he comes back, wakes up, another week happens, and then the Death Star is blown up. So, like, I love Han. He does a lot of great, important things. Cassian, oh yeah, hasn't he been in this fight since he was 6 years old, as Wes said? So, like, as far as if you put in your time, it's like you're at work, you're working the same job, you work your way up for 15 years to get the promotion, And then all of a sudden, the boss's nephew comes in. He's been there for 3 weeks, and they're like, "You're a general now." I'd be like, "I want to kill you." Cassian would hate Han Solo.
So you're
if
saying
they
it was
met
a
him.
good thing that he died, so he didn't have to see
Exactly.
that happen. Okay.
Exactly.
What kind of person would Cassian be if he was around in the New Republic? He would just be like, Mon, I mean, can I kill somebody for you? Is there somebody that's really on your back
Can
right
I get
now?
you anything?
I am
Your
excited.
body.
I'm excited to see him and Mon, and if they even meet in the first season, because it seems like they're both going to be building up their own stuff. But I think his view of the rebellion, is he more like Saw when it starts? Is he more extremist? Then he becomes a little more to the cause. That will be very fun, because I think based on some of the footage we've seen, which we'll talk about later, he is joining the rebellion from a very different set of circumstances than a lot of the heroes we've seen. But in contrast to that, we do have the next character I want to talk about, who we just mentioned, none other than Mon Mothma, played exquisitely. My dear God, it's not even fair. By Genevieve O'Reilly, playing the character that she played, 17 years ago for the first time. And she is basically their woman on the inside. She is sitting in the Senate. She is seeing the Empire grow in power and is starting to, from what we've seen, have the backdoor meetings, have the secret notes. Like Brandon says in the chat, he thinks he's more excited for the Mon Mothma stuff than the Cassian stuff. Maybe, man. If this show is actually more half and half, and like Diego Luna has said, this is an ensemble show. I kind of hope they don't meet for a while, because I want to see them both working.
Those two different spectrums, and then they meet after, let's say, they meet in the beginning of the second season. They finally meet. They finally put that together, that intelligence piece and that gritty piece from, and I keep saying gritty, but it's what it is. It's what I hope it is.
Yeah, because Eric, put your hands down. The Mon Mothma that we know, including the Mon Mothma that we know from deleted scenes and things like that,
right,
would not be on board with some of the stuff that Cassian has done, at least in my mind, when I think about that character. So seeing who's going to pull who along that spectrum of what it means to be a rebel, and where are they going to kind of settle out, that dynamic, I think is going to be very interesting, because I do think early on it's got to be contentious.
Yes, absolutely. Mon Mothma believed in the Republic, and now she's got to believe in the power of diplomacy to an extent, right? She's still taking meetings. She's doing what she has to do. And then we know eventually she then becomes the head of the New Republic on Chandrilla. So, like, she still has to believe in everything. And I think it'll be interesting to see if she's just getting allies, if she is agreeing with Cassian, she's meeting with our next character we'll talk about. And I do, before we go off of Mon, because this guy's not in the outline, I do want to mention Jared's comment here, because he does mention our Lord and Savior, my best boy, Bail Organa. Bail, obviously, from those deleted scenes we mentioned earlier, very present in the birth of the rebellion. He's in Rogue One. He is Mon Mothma's possibly canonically strongest ally in the Senate. He's not been in any promotional footage. He's not been in any scenes. So here's where I am as the Bail truther stan. I think there is a 100% chance we see Bail in Andor. I think it's season 2. Because I think season 1 is 5 years before. It's all about setting up the cast of characters, all about setting the stakes. Then season 2, which we'll talk about more so when that comes out, takes time jumps. 4 years before, 3 years before, 2 years before. And I think that's when Bail gets more involved. I'm not sure if he meets Cassian 5 years ahead. That being said, if Bail Organa's in these episodes, he should be there, and he should get all the screen time he needs because he's perfect. But just wanted to address that. Just wanted to address it. I'm setting my managing my expectations.
Okay.
But who will be in there? And Mon Mothma's ally, so we think, is our next character, who's been very, very, very present in a lot of the press. That's Luthen Rail, who's being played by...
He's
okay.
evil.
He's still in Skarsgård. He was the last guy who got a character poster today. Charles, speak on him. Why is he evil? Is it because he has a hood on?
Without this poster, why is he evil?
I mean, this poster, This is Dr. Evil in a hoodie right here. I no, really, I think that we saw the Andor clip, which I'm sure we're going to comment on here, but he's supposedly on with the good guys. I get a weird feeling from him. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the way he says Andor. I don't know what it is, but I think
Andor.
He's betraying them on some level. Maybe it's a double cross and he comes back to their side. But at some point, Cassian Andor is betrayed by this man.
I mean,
he doesn't look like somebody who's going to walk up to you on the streets of Coruscant and say, "Hey, do you need a hand with something? Can I help you carry your groceries?" And so, I mean, right. But he could be that piece that's the one that's pushing Cassian to do to crack the eggs, if you will, of the stuff that needs to get done, while Mon Mothma and maybe Bail Organa are over there pulling the strings and kind of doing the intelligence bit. He's the one that's like pushing Cassian a little bit over the edge. It's like, that guy over there, that guy needs to die. And Cassian's like, "No problem, dude." And then he does it.
He does have that kind of vibe of, I will order you to do things and kind of give you guidance. Because also what's interesting, in all the trailers, we've seen him both as like short hair Luthen, but also like long hair Luthen in robes being all jovial. And it seems like it's like his Senate persona and his rebel persona. And I'm wondering where we see those. Are there time jumps, or is he actually like actively living both lives? What did he used to be like an Empire First senator, and then Mon Mothma got to him and showed him the error, and he becomes a rebel? Like, I think this guy has some real interesting stuff, because he does seem like he was like born among the elite and is now in the rebellion. And I think that's a huge part of the rebellion, right? It's like all the guys that had to have the money to fund it had to have done some pretty bad things in the past, right? That's what DJ says in Last Jedi, right? Like, there's money everywhere. Like, the good guys pay for weapons too. So I think Luthen might be that kind of role. And based on the clips, I really like, I mean, Stellan Skarsgård is also just a freaking awesome actor. He's so fun to watch. I love, and he does genre, like he's been in Marvel, right? He's been in Thor movies. He's been in Good Will Hunting. Like, he's just always is great in everything he sees. And I can really see him having these long dialogue conversations about the rebellion and about, like, as he says in the trailer, is like, do you just really want to kill these bastards? Like, once and for all? Like, I feel like he could recruit me to do almost anything. So I want to see Luthen with Mon Mothma and Luthen with Cassian, and what's that difference like, and who's the real man, and do any of them even know? So I think that's very fun. Versus our next character, who you know exactly who he is, everywhere he is, and that's Saw Gerrera. Guys, Forrest Whitaker's getting another check. Happy Bonnie Vanilla Day. Forrest Whitaker gets another check.
Bobby Bonilla.
Star Wars. Bobby Bonilla. I'm so sorry. Thank you, Wes. I knew you'd correct me. Forrest Whitaker is in more Star Wars projects than Harrison Ford and Mark Hamill, and I love him for it.
I love Forrest
I think
Whitaker.
He's wonderful. You can always tell where we are in the timeline based on the hair as well, which I really appreciate. He looks pretty rad here, and I mean, is he going to be in more than one episode? Do you think?
Oh, I should hope so. Because look, he has like his baby scars on his face right now in this picture that he hasn't really got to the point where he is
baby scars.
He hasn't got to the point where he is just completely ragged on the edge of insanity. Do we get to see the beginning? Do we get to see the first meeting of Borgullet?
What do you mean, the baby Borgullet, like in a jar? He's like,
jar.
Borgullet.
Like, look at this.
Borgullet. So if this was the Mandalorian, there would be a side episode where they went to a planet and they found Borgullet. Like, they'd absolutely put that in. Damn it, Wes! I'm managing my expectations here.
Sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
No, I think you're right. I think he'll play a part in showing Cassian some of the extremes, maybe. But like, Luthen is the only character we know that has scenes with Mon Mothma, Bail Organa, or sorry, I'm trying not to. With Mon Mothma, Saw Gerrera, and Cassian Andor. So I wonder if he's really going to be the linchpin, or if Saw is going to be
pretty
involved.
Now that we're like jumping through these characters, if I feel like Cassian is going to be learning from each one of these people about his demeanor. Like he's learning from Saw to be like the extreme rebel. He's learning from Mon Mothma maybe to like for the intelligence band to kind of lay low. I mean, all these little pieces come together and like an ultimate like mental break where he's like, I can't actually do this in Rogue One when he tried to shoot Galen Erso. Spoiler alert. Oh my God, sorry. Everybody.
He almost, hey, come on now. It's gotta be required. Well, I think Saw's gonna be who we think he is. I like him as a catalyst. And again, he's such an extreme character that he's really good as a plot device because you can, if you need a certain person to act in an extreme way to show a main character if they're good or not, throw Saw Gerrera in there.
Yeah.
And that's who Cassian's gonna learn from. Charles, I want to ask you about this next character because I know you're a giant fan. Bix Colleen, who's played by Adria Arjona. What do you think about Bix Colleen? You're a big Bix fan.
The thing about Bix is that
I'll give you $5. Dang it, Wes! All right, that's Bix. That's Bix.
all right,
Sorry.
all right. So, admittedly, I did not know who Bix was.
I threw you a bone,
pretty
Charles.
I'm pretty much tapped out on my Andor cast knowledge at this point in the list. I'm not gonna lie. Saw was kind of the end of it. But look, I'm excited to learn about more rebels and more Imperials. So I mean, I think the rest of the folks on this list, the rest of the people that are going to serve probably some smaller roles in the show, they might be the next Cassian. I mean, Cassian was just one of a cast of characters in a movie, and now he's got his own TV show. I mean, who knows where this is going to go? Some of
these characters are going to die and not be available for season 2. So that's going to show the.
That is true.
That's gonna show that's gonna show the finality and like the seriousness of the rebellion back in the early days with the grit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The grit that we've been talking about. It's getting old. I'm sorry.
It's not. It's not.
I think the cool thing about Bix Colleen is that I'm really excited to see her and Cassian because they are definitely teasing a bit of an on and off again like romance angle. Now, that is sometimes what happens when two hot people talk very close together in a trailer. Maybe we're just looking in it and being like, they could. But she does seem like she is an on-the-ground rebel. And I think that she's talking to Cassian very kind of bluntly in the final trailer. Like they have a very open dialogue. And I think that's what's also kind of cool in this show is that most folks, aside from maybe Mothma and Luthen, kind of seem on a similar level. Like Cassian isn't a general. He's not like a captain yet. Like they're all just gonna be agents, I think, is kind of the vibe I'm getting. So I'm very excited about it. Andrew in the chat makes a great point. Characters dying? I don't know. It doesn't seem like a theme with Star Wars. Yeah, not like a General Merrick. Sorry, Andrew. R.I.P. Blue Leader. Excited for Bix. Next up, we have two characters that were actually together on the press tour. If any of y'all listen to the audio interviews that folks like Star Wars Explained, Pink Milk, Sky Talkers, Father and Son Galaxy, a bunch of folks got to do some roundtable interviews with the cast, which were amazing. These last two folks were together as they talked about them. The first one was Denise Goff, who plays Deidre Miro, who is an Imperial ISB agent. If you watch the trailer, she's got the blonde hair and it's like really pulled back. And look at this. She's got Death Troopers flanking her.
Those are her friends. Those are her friends that she plays pickleball with on the weekends. You don't know who those people are.
Imperial pickleball tournament.
Don't judge a trooper by his armor.
Oh my God. Hey, you see T-8487? Yeah, he's just a menace on the court.
He's got a hell of a forehand. That guy can't shoot the broadside of a barn, but he can hit those lines on a pickleball court.
Okay.
Oh my God. Wow. Yep. All right, that's through it. So, other than Death Troopers playing pickleball, I like her because she does sound like, especially in a lot of the trailers, she is on a hunt for rebels. And if Star Wars Rebels showed us anything, I love when there are people that are like, where are they? I want her like leaning over a hollow table, looking at planets, being like, where? Okay, what happened here? Is there a rebel cell? Like, I want her on the run, going after them, because I think whenever that's happening, Star Wars is so kinetic because you have cat and mouse the entire series, and for the Imperial Security Bureau, like, we know these guys mean business, especially if you read the Aftermath books. Shout out to Sinjir if you want to know how brutal these guys get.
I feel like she's like a similar Arinda Price, maybe, like what we saw in Rebels, like a governor type, maybe.
Better hair.
Better hair, definitely better hair.
Better hair. Governor Sharp Bob Cut, as Charlie would say on the Ghost Crew.
Coconut
Check it out on
head
Patreon. My goodness, she's something.
That's how you can describe it. You are something.
So she's going to be a lot of fun, but of course she is kind of partnered or dichotomized with Cyril Karn, who's played by Kyle Soller, who is a deputy inspector. A little bit under the ASB, but yeah, a lot of people thought this was like Starkiller from The Force Unleashed, and it's like, this guy looks good. He's not Sam Witwer. Calm down.
Okay, so there were two pictures that I could pull up. There was this one, obviously looks real, and this one there was like definitely like a photo that I found that looks just like it.
Oh my gosh, that's Sam Witwer.
Oh,
Sam Witwer one looks just like him. It's a Lego.
Oh my goodness, it's a Lego set. Yeah, because
anyway.
there is an Andor Lego set that includes some of these folks already, which I have not bought yet because I don't think that the ship is cool enough looking yet. But if someone wants to buy it for me, my DMs are open. Yeah, I mean, we know nothing about this guy except he's again. We're getting multiple Imperials that are chasing these folks, and I think that's so fun because, like in Mando, right? We got Moff Gideon. I love him. He's like one dude. In Book of Boba Fett, you get like a dude. Cad Bane, awesome. But look, and the gang is kind of mysterious. This show, we're getting multiple named rebels, multiple named Imperials, and I'm like, hell yeah! Like, this is what makes spy stuff so fun, and why Tony Gilroy did stuff like the Bourne Identity and the Bourne Supremacy. Like, it's groups of people fighting groups of people, and that's what this rebellion was. I mean, Andor is the name, but I think these many named villains already is showing me that, like, this is, it's just, again, scale. It goes back to scale, like I said. This is a big show with a lot of people.
We're not just seeing a gaggle of stormtroopers going after the rebels, right? They have leaders. They have superiors that are kind of orchestrating
is that the plural,
that.
Wes? A gaggle of stormtroopers?
I forgot what the gaggle was. That for what it's for, but I'd love it. It's a group of something.
It's geese.
Oh,
it's
thanks.
absolutely geese.
I should know that. Damn it.
Oh my, gaggle of stormtroopers. I'm gonna look that up. A group of stormtroopers. But yeah, keep talking about Cyril. Like, again, Charles, I'm sorry we keep cutting you off. Your favorite characters.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Sorry, Charles. You talk about him all the time.
Cyril, I'm excited about. I don't want to spoil anyone. That's what it is.
Oh, sure.
I'm gonna hold my cards close to my chest on Cyril, but maybe the next Callus.
Oh, you play it off so well. Yes.
You know what? That could be fun.
I'm the spy.
The next Callus. I'm the spy.
I'm the spy.
Yeah. We gotta have some folks that are switching teams, right?
Yeah, for sure.
There's no way.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. I think overall, I will say every one of these actors, in the very small amounts of footage we've gotten so far, which now we're about to get into, they all look just so in the same TV show. And what I mean by that is, sometimes you watch shows or watch movies, and there are people that are in the Star Wars universe or in the right film, and then one actor will say something, and they just intangibly feel like they're not living in the same world as everybody else. They move differently, they speak different. There's just something off, and it's frustrating because it's really hard to speak about. All these characters in every footage, every still I've seen, I'm like, everyone is in the same movie. You know what I mean? Like, this is Andor. I would not confuse this with a still from The Mandalorian or from the Book of Boba Fett. Like, this is from Andor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's gritty.
It's Pretty. So let's jump into the footage we've seen and get you guys ready for what you can look forward to happening in Brings Out Calendar. 9 days. We're in single digits, boys. 9 days. If you watch a Saga film every day, you'll finish them and then watch Andor.
I just might do that. Thank
Wow,
you.
it is
You're
9
welcome.
days. That is
That's
so
it.
soon.
I like the West fact checked you.
Yeah. Is that not? Yeah,
Ah,
nice.
this guy's lying to me on
West
the
fact
air
just
live.
calculator again.
I don't know. It's an older code, sir, but it checks out. So, initial trailer, we did talk about that with the hammer and gong guy.
That grunts really awkwardly.
Yeah, he really does. When that first came out, a lot of the things I saw online and heard from people at Celebration was the phrase, "This is not like anything we've seen before." And we've said it on this show. But I want to challenge us to kind of go a little specific on that. Like, what? We've seen a lot of Star Wars. We've seen 40-some years of Star Wars at this point. Why was this trailer initially so different? What made it so?
Well, all jokes aside, the grittiness is part of it. Okay.
Yes.
I do think that's part of it. Another thing is, I think we saw some glimpses of like young Cassian. And I might be mixing up where some of this stuff came in. So correct me if I'm wrong, but we saw some young Cassian. We saw some cultural elements that maybe we've seen in Star Wars, but not from the main characters. Like we oftentimes see in the Clone Wars, like, oh, the Jedi go to this planet and it's really unique. And there's these kind of people and this kind of thing happens there, but it's still the Jedi experiencing that thing. Whereas in this trailer, it was like, no, the hero, Cassian, like you're going to see how he grew up. You're going to see this, unique planet, this specific culture. Then you're going to see where it goes from there. And that is important and cool and different. And I think that's exciting. So I think that was another aspect that made it feel just very new and fresh.
Yeah. Andrew, I love that comment in the chat. I want to bring it up. I didn't mean to cut you off there, Wes. He says, would it be fair to say that this setting, from what it seems, it looks like it's more lived in than other shows? And I think that's a great way to describe it because we've seen, like, Mando, every place he's going to, he hasn't been to before. Like, they're all new, and it seemed like there were people that were good, but it did feel like a set sometimes. I did feel like, for a number of reasons, which we'll expand on, that first trailer, I'm like, oh, these are people on their planet that we're visiting. And it seemed more almost intrusive as a viewer that I was watching these people live. I like that a lot, Andrew. So, Wes, what were you gonna say? Didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's like along the lines of what Charles was saying. We do get to see inside the life of Cassian Andor, but like when you think about it, the Jedi are like a small piece of the galaxy. Very small piece. They've been highlighted. Small. They've been highlighted throughout the saga just because it is a amazing like story to tell, but in the grand scheme of things, there are these people that have everyday lives that they're trying to live with the Empire. They're trying to be a part of the Empire, trying to be a part of the rebellion. And you can tell, like in the first trailer, Andor Cassian was talking about, hey, they're sitting back in their chairs, eating their their food with their fat faces and all that. And you're just like, yeah, man, they're getting like the short end of the stick while these other, like the Imperials are really sticking it to them. And so I can't wait to see on top of the cinematic, like the architecture and like the movie making they're doing with this, like every year, every month even, there's something new technology that comes out that helps out with these shows that makes it even better than the movies that we've seen years ago. So, I mean, this is going to be on par with Rogue One, probably even more so, just with I'm not saying Industrial Light and Magic is part of this, are they? But, I mean, they...
Oh, yeah.
But it's going to be on par with, or even better than what you would see in Rogue One as a movie. And we get more footage. It's longer than 2 hours.
Yeah. And I will say, Justin, you hit it in the chat. He says, I'm glad they're not in the volume. And while the volume has been the reason we are able to get some of the most incredible things we've ever seen, and it is not going anywhere, and I wouldn't want it to go anywhere. I want it to be used. That is a giant reason why the first trailer, and especially the second trailer, which I want to talk about, got such huge reactions, because It looked like they were shooting on location because they were. Now, they
That's
made
right.
Star Wars content, everyone, during an international deadly pandemic. And they did that because of the volume. So,
And it was damn good.
yes, to be clear, you heard us. Obi-Wan is some of the best Star Wars that's ever existed. Those last 2 episodes can go toe-to-toe with literally anything as far as I'm concerned. Let's be clear. But
Okay, Stephen A. Smith.
let me be clear. Let me just say here. Obi-Wan Kenobi is some...
Oh my God, Eric, that was really good. I
you.
commend you for that.
No, I don't want to hear it. I want to hear it. Obi-Wan? Do you think Obi-Wan Kenobi on the Jedi Council? All right, so that could be a Patreon reward for anyone that wants that.
Well done, my sir. Well done.
Thank you.
No,
First take.
But what you're saying is true. I think we saw the limits of the volume.
Yeah.
But just as any great thing that comes out, you got to find those boundaries. And I think they found them in the Book of Boba Fett. And I think they course corrected with some stuff after that. And I think it got better. But I'm glad that they're not just relying on this thing. You know what I mean? Like,
yes,
it's like
use it all.
when super glue came out, great invention. Don't hang your Christmas decorations with that because it's not coming down. Okay. Like there are times to use super glue and times to not. And there's times to use the volume and times to not.
I love that Wes and I, if y'all are listening, check this out on video. Wes and I at the same time went, where's he going? And you got there. You got there.
I don't know if I did.
Super glue.
You nailed it, Charles. So yeah, I think that the fact that they weren't shooting the volume is so huge. That being said, there are so many incredible effects in this. And there's one thing I want to bring up that we've teased on, but that I think really made the difference, especially for those in our generation. And that is the full Imperial Senate. We saw the freaking Senate for the first time since 2005. Like, we have not seen the full Galactic Senate with all the pods. Mon Mothma walks in and she looks, and you are in the prequels again, but with astonishing effects. And it's like a TV show is doing this. And I think we're really like, look at this. This is Revenge of the Sith nostalgia with current political intrigue. And I think that is quite literally the greatest pitch for a show that you could give to folks like us who grew up with the prequels and are now watching Disney Plus excessively and reading the books and doing all this stuff. And I think that this really kind of expensive shot, because again, none of that's real. Yeah, none of that is real.
You kind of think that this got disbanded, right? Because like after Revenge of the Sith, you feel that Palpatine is now pulling the strings. He's the one making the decisions, but no, there is still a Senate there. I had completely forgot about that. And
crazy that we've not really seen this, considering this was in place during, the original trilogy. Yeah, even. Oh my God. And we're just now getting back around to this.
And this Empire logo that's like right over the.
Nice! I didn't even notice that.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think the fact that the second trailer showed so many legitimate practical sets, and I mean, when it first went around, it quite literally, as much as I hate this phrase, like broke the internet. Like every single person I saw from every corner of Star Wars loved this in a way that I hadn't seen since the Rise of Skywalker final trailer, which I still think is probably the best trailer we've ever gotten. But this wasn't using 40 years of nostalgia. This was just quality and a little nostalgia, but mostly just quality.
Yeah.
Which then finally leads us to the largest amount of footage we've gotten from Andor so far, which is a clip that was released publicly on Disney Plus Day, was released earlier in theaters in front of Rogue One for a special screening I was lucky enough to see. I spoke on this on an earlier episode. But now it's out for everyone. And fellas, I told you to watch it before we got in here. We've all seen it. I'm sure a lot of you folks have watched it. If you haven't, pause right now. Go to Disney Plus. It's like 9 minutes. There's some interviews. And then there's probably, I would say, a 4.5, 5 minute scene, which is not nothing. So this scene, it's Cassian and it's Luthen in a warehouse. There's a large amount of dialogue. Then there's some action. So we have not spoken about this offline yet. I want your just initial reactions live here. Wes, I actually want to start with you, dude. What did you think about this scene?
Eric, I got to tell you.
You didn't watch
I didn't do the homework.
Dang it!
I was pulling up the clip itself. That way I could show stills while y'all talked about it.
You know what? I'll take it back. Hey, Matt, don't edit this out, but everyone forgets that just happened. All right, I was going to play it up. All right, so Charles, you did the homework. You're a good man. You had days off. What'd you think?
I enjoyed it. Whoever strung up those engines or whatever they were didn't use super glue. I can tell you that right now.
They should have used super glue.
They should have.
Yes.
They should have. I thought I was kind of intrigued with how dangerous that room was. I don't think it was intended to be. There was a lot of very heavy objects hanging very precariously. I don't know who's responsible for that, but someone's losing their job.
Not good. Not good.
No, I mean, it was good. It was good. I felt very gripped by the conversation that was happening. Like, it is a lot of dialogue when you step back to be like, oh, like this is what they chose to put out there. You know, like they could have chosen anything from any of the early footage, and this is what they chose. But it actually is very gripping. I'm intrigued by what the characters are saying. There's a nice dynamic there between them, and I think we're going to see that continue. And for what it's worth, I thought that the actual CGI was very good. I mean, I assume they weren't dropping real 100-ton, engines near someone
Diego
like
Luna's
Diego Luna.
I want to feel it, make it real. Let's do it. Come on.
Yeah.
It
Felt real. It looked good.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I was so impressed by the dialogue at the top of the scene, because they released a shorter version of it on YouTube beforehand. But then when I went and saw it in the theater, and I will say, it's so cliche. I know there's blah, blah, blah reasons. God, I wish we could watch this whole series on an IMAX screen. It was really, really something special seeing brand new Star Wars content on a movie theater screen again. But I was so impressed by how locked in Diego Luna and Stellan Skarsgård were to each other in the text. Like, they were just gripped. And it is the moment, which we haven't seen really, of like, hey, this is the rebellion. Are you ready to put your money where your mouth is? Do you want to stop just doing this crap and join and hit these bastards in the teeth who have been oppressing you for years? And it felt like, honestly, it felt like, I put in the notes, an FX show. It felt like a gritty drama that is going to be like Emmy nominated for drama and all that stuff. Like, the writing was solid. And if you had taken out the blaster shots and like talk of Empire or whatever, this could have just been any wartime drama. And I think that's what's so gripping about Rogue One, and that's what's so gripping about this show. And to your point, Charles, about the action, I thought the action was solid. It was fun. It was intense. This is where I'm like, oh yeah, this guy did the Bourne Identity. I got this. I understand now. This is where he's writing from. Yes, unfortunately, like the chat is saying, no OOSH or OSHA regulation at all. Not good. Everything was falling all up and down. But I also liked that we're seeing Cassian's character, that he's still grabbing the insurance of the item that he stole. Like, I'm not just joining this rebellion. I still need to make sure that my job is done, because I need to get paid. I need to get done, because I'm still not sure this is what I'm doing for forever. And to see a character who we know becomes such a great figure in the rebellion be unsure of its motives at this point was such a cool scene to choose. And I'm really just excited for these scenes of quiet discussion, which I gotta say, I haven't really been excited about in Star Wars before. Like, I never even thought about it. Like, I want the ships, I want the everything, but I'm excited for Mon Mothma just chatting on a couch with someone about the Senate meeting. I'm excited for Luthen and Cassian being in a warehouse like this, talking about if the rebellion is right or how much his fee is. Like, it's that kind of. Wes, you can't just throw that out there without telling me. Oh my dear Mon. Yeah, she. Yeah, that's gonna be great.
Speechless.
Is what that's gonna be.
But
that's
yeah,
her.
Eric,
That's her sitting down at a table talking about the Senate. How about it?
Probably.
God, and just maybe we should all dress to have our clothes match our walls. Maybe that's the thing. Charles, what do you say? I cut you off there.
No, I was just gonna say that the Star Wars trope is faster, more intense. I think this show might deliver us slower, more intense.
I agree.
And I'm interested to see that.
Yes, I think that's a great point. I think that playing with the tempo, we've always kind of thought of that as Jedi meditation, right? Like the Like the Ahsoka episode of Mando where she's just sitting around the fire talking about Grogu and stuff like that's really great. It's a nice meditative thing. But this isn't meditation. This is, do you want to become a traitor to the galaxy? And you got to figure that out in the next 5 minutes, or else, because they're coming and we're all gonna die. So like, take your time, but we gotta go. It's again unlike anything we've ever seen before.
In the vast majority of the galaxy, they are swayed by the Empire, and the Empire is pushing the rebels as terrorists. This group of they are terrorists, like in common general terms, like everyday terms. These are terrorists. They're trying to overthrow the government, and so they have the ability to push that narrative to the masses and persuade people, and so trying to gain support for the rebel side and showing that actually the Empire is the one that is like subjugating everybody to like whether they want to mine on your world, whether they want to use you for labor, all that kind of stuff that hasn't been brought to light. So maybe this would be the catalyst. No pun intended.
That was good.
Thanks.
That was really good. Yeah, I mean it's wild to think that we're here already. When that delay first got announced, like it's weeks, it's 9 days now. Like next Wednesday, we're watching Andor.
Yeah,
3 episodes. We're gonna get 3.
Hold on a sec. Let me check.
You check that out.
It's 9 days. It's
okay,
9 days.
So right.
My abacus. It moved my beads.
I was hoping you had an abacus in there, man. Like more than likely, we're getting probably in the neighborhood of 40, 45 minutes an episode. So we're getting over 2 hours of Andor content. And that's a quarter of the season. And we're going to get, again, then weekly releases. I guess at this point, I do also want to say, we haven't officially said this, I don't think, on any shows. Bounty Hunt will be returning for Andor. Whether we'll be doing all 3 episodes in one, making that a living for doing whatever, TBD. We will keep you all posted, of course. For those of you who don't know, Bounty Hunt is our extra show where we talk about all the shows. We've done Obi-Wan, we've done the Mandalorian seasons, we did Clone Wars. Check that all out on its individual feed. But I don't know. It's so strange because we sound like we're just copy-pasting ourselves. But guys, this might be the most excited I've been to chat with you guys about a show so far. I mean, Obi-Wan was such a joy, and we all left that show on the highest horses. I think it's my favorite show they've done so far. I think it's just pretty impeccable.
Yeah.
I don't know how we don't go into the first week of Bounty Hunt after the show being like, that was perfect, wasn't it?
Well, the Obi-Wan show answered a lot of questions that we had for years, right? And so are they trying to one up or be equal with this Andor show and trying to answer some questions of the Senate, like we saw the Empire Senate, or like the Death Star plans and and like the beginning of building the Death Star, how they get the materials, like the worlds that they have to enslave to do this kind of stuff. So hopefully the more questions are answered than are brought up. I mean, there's always that side of Twitter that's gonna grab at it, but that's what I'm most excited for, is to see like some of these answers to the Death Star and to the Senate. Like I just completely forgot about the Senate now that we've had this show. It's like, yes, that's been around for a long time, man. So that's what I'm excited about. To answer some of these questions that have been around for years, decades even.
Yeah. I think I'm going to end mine with just saying, I think my most excited thing about this show is to just have a show where I'm like, guys, this is amazingly well acted. It's incredibly directed. It's incredibly written. And it just happens to be in Star Wars. I think this will be the easiest conversation to have with non-Star Wars people in quite a while.
Yeah.
To be like, just watch the show. I feel like it's political intrigue. Like Tony Gilroy has even said, like, he's not the biggest Star Wars fan in the world. Like, he likes it, but he's not like read everything. He's like, that's not what the show is. Nice. This is just going to be a good show. And
so the last categorization should be Star Wars. Everything else, you got intrigue, you got suspense. It's a great thriller, and then it's also Star Wars.
Can't wait. 9 days, folks. So that should be everything you need to know. Gosh, we'll be coming to you on that weekend. with Andor footage. Again, let us know what you're most excited for in the comments. If you're listening to us, let us know on Twitter, on Discord, wherever you want. Tell your friends to watch Andor so you have people to talk about it with. Before we get out of here today, next week, I'm gonna put it live on the show. Charles, how we feeling? Princess and the Scoundrel? Think we'll make it?
I think we're going to make it. Live update. I am on page like 220.
Oh,
I think we're going to make it.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, excellent. So as of this point, we are planning on having our Princess and the Scoundrel roundtable next Monday night. 2 roundtables so close together is so rare. It just happened because of the schedule, but for everyone that's been enjoying it, make sure you get in there. If we do have to shift it, we will let you know early. But as of right now, a great show to look forward to, a great book to talk about, and then between the 2 episodes of the roundtable, we'll watch 3 episodes of Andor. Yeah. And football is back. All right, everyone. It is a great time to be alive. Go watch some football. Go watch some Star Wars. And on that is going to do it for this week's episode of The Living Force. If you support us on Patreon, thank you so much. Reminder, check out Friendship Through the Force, a UTD documentary dropping this Wednesday on the 14th. Let us know what you think. We put a lot of love into it. We hope you love it as well. A special thank you to Brian Dooley, Patrick Ortiz, Earl Q, Robert Thomas, and Carl Sander on our Jedi High Council, and Elizabeth Cloutier and Sally and Chris Eilerson on our Alliance High Command. You can find us on Twitter. I'm at Eric Eilerson. Charles is at C. Henkel. Wes is at Boss Wes. And Corey is in Hawaii. He'll get his name back when he's on the show. A special thank you to Matt Davenport, our amazing editor, Ryan, our graphic designer extraordinaire, and Wes, our producer and community manager. Thank you to Charles and Wes for potting with me tonight. Thanks to all of you for hanging out and chatting all about Andor. And as always, may the Force be with you.
Andor what?